Asta is a very controversial character when it comes to discussing his strength because his abilities are some of the most broken abilities that we've seen in any anime and manga, period. And we know that Asta, he's already at a huge disadvantage when it comes to his power. Some people like to call him the Rock Lee of Black Clover, but today I had to do a video discussing how strong is the main character known as Asta, because a lot of people overrate his strength, a lot of people underrate his strength, and today I'm going to be telling you guys how strong he is exactly. Now, when we look at Asta, we have to acknowledge that he's one of the strongest characters in his series simply because his abilities is broken. Yeah, when you have anti-magic in a series where magic is the only thing they use to fight really, then you're going to be pretty top notch. I don't care who you are, but some people, they think that that makes him super strong, but we've seen multiple times in this series that just because you have something overpowered like anti-magic doesn't mean you're going to be the strongest necessarily. But we do see from a series of his early fights, Asta versus Revchi, Asta versus Seki, and Asta Magna Noel versus Heath, those early battles, they showed how broken his ability was, because we saw that that was an inexperienced Asta, and yet he was able to take down people who were supposed to be stronger than him, all because he did have an anti-magic weapon, which does go to show you how strong anti-magic is in a world full of magic. When you're able to counter magic with the swords, then you're going to be pretty strong. And I think that these three early battles did show you how broken his ability was. But then we got to Asta versus Mars, and we saw Mars was pushing back Asta one-on-one. And this was a good fight because we saw Asta, this was the first time he really got pushed to a limit, and he had to get saved by Yuno, which goes to show you that even though he does have this broken ability, it's not all powering. Like, it's not going to defeat everybody. And we saw Mars, he was able to give Asta that work, and it showed that Asta, he still did have a long way to go. And obviously Mars, he is one of our favorite characters. He ended up returning. So Asta versus Mars, their first fight, it definitely was hype, and it showed us that Asta, he still have a long ways to go if he wants to become the Wizard King. And then we seen Asta versus Baltos, and this was the first member of the Midnight Sun who he defeated, which was hype. And we saw that he actually didn't even have to use his swords for this one. He ended up beating him with a punch, and that was hype because it goes to show you that all of Asta's training, like his workouts and the bodybuilding and stuff, it all paid off. And we saw that he uses his workouts and all that stuff, his physical strength, to really master his weapons, because if he didn't have the strength to wield those swords, he wouldn't be able to use them, period. So Asta's physical strength was definitely put on display in this fight versus Baltos. And possibly one of my favorite fights in the series, Asta, Vanessa, and Finro versus Beto. And yo, this just showed the difference in power between the Third Eye and Asta, because the Third Eye, they're looked at as captain level. We saw Yami, he pretty much defeated Beto and injured Beto by himself, and we saw that these three, they were struggling like all hell to defeat Beto, and it was obvious that Asta couldn't beat him one-on-one. But I do like this battle just because it was such great showing the teamwork of some of the top tier members of the Black Bulls. And even though Asta didn't defeat him normally, it showed how durable he was, because yo, Asta, he took multiple like death hit blows that match, and he was still standing up, getting back up, and still fighting with Finro and Vanessa. So I definitely do have to say, Asta versus Beto, that was a clear indication on his endurance, and it showed you that he still has a long way to go before he even becomes a captain. And then we see Asta versus Ladros, and this fight is very underrated because Asta was pushed beyond his limit for the first time. Yes, we seen this was really when his demon power was unleashed, and Ladros, he is not someone to sleep on. We seen he's one of the strongest people in the Diamond Clover. He was basically, or Diamond Kingdom, he was basically going crazy the whole time, and Asta being able to beat him in a pretty much one-on-one battle, obviously he had his powers awakened, but in a one-on-one battle was huge for his character. And it shows you that Asta, when he's in his demon form, he is very overpowered. And we even get to see Asta and Yuno versus Lick, which I'm not going to get too deep into spoilers, but just know Lick does give them that work. And this just goes to show you that even though Asta and Lick, they have the same abilities, they are on two different playing fields. And this leads me all to my assumption that Asta, he is not currently at captain level. Yes, I know this might shock a lot of people, but I do not believe that Asta, he is at captain level. But I do believe that he is equal to Yuno in terms of how we see that he isn't captain level evil. Even he's like vice captain. We know he's one of the top 3 members in the Golden Dawn, right behind Longris. I believe that's the same place where Asta is in terms of power for the Black Bulls. I believe that he's the strongest member of the Black Bulls besides Yami, but I don't think that he's captain level yet. I don't think he's ready to lead his old squadron, but I do believe that Asta, he is the strongest member in the Black Bulls, and I would put him at vice captain level. I would give him a couple more years until he can finally lead his own squadron. Comment what you guys think down below. Subscribe if you haven't. Peace out.